Hello, welcome back to the lab third program on SignUp activity. In the previous video, we have learned to create an XML file which are one for the SignUp activity, the other one for the login activity. In the SignUp activity, we have the text box which are 3 in number and the plain text, as the plain text are going to interact with the coding in Java. So we have created an ID for the first username as txt_username. For the password, the ID created is text_password. There is a button called as sign up button, and the sign up button has an ID which is btn_signup. Similarly, we have one more XML file which is called as a login activity. Again, in this there are two plain text which is being given with the ID as login_username. For the password, it is given as login_password. For the button labeled as sign in, it has the ID btn_login. With this as a background information, today in this video, I'll be explaining on the coding part which need to be done for the main activity and as well as for the login activity. The question says you need to validate a password. The password should be of minimum 8 characters and we need to have uppercase, lowercase, special characters and numbers should be included in the password. The username and the password what we enter in the sign up activity has to be bundled together and need to be sent to an login activity. The login activity is going to check the entered username and the password. If the username and the password is correct, on clicking on sign in, it will say the message as login successful. If there is a wrong entry of the username or the password, it will say login failed. It is going to give 2 attempts. On the third attempt, if the mistake has occurred in entering the username and the password, the sign in button has to be disabled and then it has to display a message called as failed login attempt. So with this as a background, now let us start coding. We first go to the main activity and then in the main activity we start coding the program. As is being done in the previous program, for all the components which are created in the sign up activity, which are for to edit text box and for the button for which we have created an ID, for all these 3 components, we need to have a variable associated in the main activity. So that we will enter here in the main activity. For me to simplify, I'll just go back to the code which has already been written. So we are going to name edit text with the Java variable name given as signup_username and signup_password for the to edit text box. For the button in the Java program, we are going to recognize the button should be done with btn signup. As is being given in the program, that we need to take the password and the password should be of minimum 8 characters. Maximum can be any number. And then it should have capital letters which is given A to Z in capital letters and the small letters A to Z. /D indicate that you have to give the numbers and the special character associated is going to be ampersand, dollar and the exclamatory. These are the only 3 special characters that we are been using to validate our password. The expression says this is a symbol to indicate that is the start. $sign is going to say that this is the end of our string. Dot is meant to match the special character, so it is a wildcard character. Asterisk is going to say that it is going to have more number of times you can have any of these characters. So this question mark equal to is going to indicate that it is a single unit of block. So we have to have a regular expression which helps in validating the password as given in the question. So I'll simply copy paste this code in the Android to save time. And here it says, as you can look into the classes, edit text, you don't have a class being mentioned in the main activity, so that we have to import that particular class, which need to be done. I right click, show context action, import the class. So here a class of edit text is imported. Similarly, need to be done for the button also. Right click, import the class. So the button class is also been imported. This is our first step need to be done. The second step in coding is we need to link all these components from the Java to the XML file. For that, it has to be done in onCreate class. So here is a content. For an edit text, it is find view by ID. R is a resource class. In that, we have all the IDs been stored. So the ID that we are going to refer is txt_username. This is the name that is given in our XML file. So we are going to say a SignUp_username has to be attached to the object which is created with the ID in the XML as txt_username. Similarly, for the sign up password which is written in the Java is to be referenced with txt_password. For button, we use the class button find by view ID, and here it is going to be set on click listener, and then we are going to say for this particular button it has to specify on clicking that button you have to do the action. So this part of code is going to be used for linking the component ID match between the XML to the Java. That's a second part that has to be done. And here we have this is in red color. So we right click, show context. Now choose the second option here for the main activity on click listener, the second component. That means you are trying to include the main activity on click listener. If you can observe here on the top, you have main activity extend app compact activity. On clicking on this, you have to select on click view and void, and I say OK. So here in the main activity, earlier it was only this. When I say I want to implement, it includes implement view on click listener, and as well as a method or a class is being called in the main program. Okay. So here, as is being done in the earlier program, we are going to check, take the string what is entered in my username and then assign it to another variable called as a username. Take the value which is associated with sign up password and assign that to a string called as password. That's the first step which we need to do. Then we have to check for the validity of the password. So we write validate password, and then we are going to send the value what is there in my string with the password as an argument to this function. Toast is going to help us in checking for validation and as well as display the message. And once it is been validated, it makes the bundle of username and the password, and then that will be put together with the name as data. So data is one which is going to contain the username and the password that is bundled, and so we are using intent class, and it is associated with it variable which is an object. And then later we say start activity it. So intent with the it variable will be associated with start activity, and then we are passing the data to the activity which is mentioned with IT. Then if it is not a valid password, it has to display the message as invalid password. So we call the toast class to display the message as invalid password, and then we have a show function. This is our next step to be done. Validate password is a user defined function. So hence we have to write the method to it. For writing the method to check for the validity, we call a class called as pattern, and small letter pattern is an object. We compile it to check with the regular expression as defined in the beginning of the main activity, and then check whether it matches. So we call a matcher class to check for the regular expression, and then we return the value of this to the login activity. So this is our program of the login activity. So I'll copy the content related to on click till the validation of the password and the function to be written there. Okay. So here is a code on this. Now toast is a class, and that class is to be imported here. As you can see that we don't have any class with the name as toast in the beginning. So we have to right click on the toast, show context action, import the class. So it goes, and then as you can see we have a class which is imported with toast. Similarly we have to do for intent, show context, import that class, and as well as for pattern, class has to be imported, and for matcher as well. Import all these classes. So all the classes for which we have the matcher is being done in the main activity. The second part of this code is we have bundled the username and the password, and which is made available in the data, and that will be sent to the start activity on your login activity which has been mentioned after validation of the entered password matching with the regular expression. Now we go to the login activity. In the login activity, the data what you enter for your username and the password has to be matched with the data entered in your main activity and made available in the data. So the first step in the login activity Java is, for every object in my XML, I have to create a variable in my Java. That's your first step. So we do the first step here, copying the text, and as well we have one more variable which is of integer type, and it is initialized to 0 to check how many times you have made a wrong entry. If it is more than 3, it has to disable the button. So for that we have one more variable called as count equal to 0. So I copy this in the main activity of the login and I paste. Right? So again, here again, these two classes has to be imported. I right click, show context action, import the class for edit. Similarly for the button. So we have the two classes ready. The second step here is associating the Java code with your XML variable. That's your first. So we have to have our login username with find by view, recognizing with the resource of your login password, and as well as for your button, we are going to say it is on click on the button. So we have this set of code is going to link the username to the password. Again, this is in marked as red color. So we have to right click, show context action, second selection has to be done, make login activity implement on this, and this I will click select and then say OK. So in the main activity you have implements view on click listener, and we have one more class which is created for your on-click view, and V is the object. Next, in addition to this which is being done, we are going to get the data from the username, and it is being bundled and which is intended and is available in the data, and that we are going to extract and then put that in the variable of user and pass. So I copy this. These 3 lines is for the bundle data stored in the variable called as data, that we are going to extract, separate that for your user and as well as password, and we are naming it as pass. So I copy this 3 lines of code, paste it here, right? Next, second step is now when I click, what action has to be done. So we have the view, and in the view we are going to say that get the text which is a string available in login username, store it in user1. Similarly, from the login password, store it in pass1, and then compare user, that is this user what we have entered which is extracted, compare this user with the user1, compare the pass from the login activity to the sign up activity here through the pass. If these two are equal, display the message as login successful and show for a specific length of time. Else, increment count. So earlier we have initialized count as 0. So count is made as 1. It is going to check is 1 equal to 3. Now 1 is not equal to 3. So it comes here and says login failed for a specific time duration of a length being mentioned, and show is to display the message as login failed. Goes back where you can re-enter and then check the username and the password, and if it is correct, it display the message yes, login successful. If it is not, it is going to check whether it is the second time or the third time. The moment it is equal to 3, we are going to make button login as enable set to false. So it is going to disable that button and then display the final message as login attempt failed, and it is going to show for a specific amount of time. So this is a set of code. Let me copy this code. For your on-click view class, we are going to have these set of codes for your disabling and as well as this. Okay, so we have the other set, right? Similarly, toast class need to be imported. Import this class and we have it ready. So the code is set. Let us run this program and see for the execution. Now the output screen is almost set. We are error free. We have the screen now. I will first show the successful message. Now I type the username as Rashmi and password we need to have a capital letter. I will say RA1 at, and we need to have 8 or more characters, so I will have RA2 at symbol. So this is our password, RA1 at, RA2 at, so it is more than 8 characters. We have a number, small letters and the special character that we have taken. You can take any of the 3 special characters. So I have taken at symbol and I click on sign up. Now when I say sign up, it comes to the login activity. I'll show the success message first. So we have Rashmi as our username and the password is RA1 at, RA2 at, and I give sign in. It says login successful. Okay. Now I go to the next run of the program where we will see how the button is going to be disabled if I make a wrong entry. So I say Rashmi as a username. Password is RA1 hash RA2 hash, because hash is also valid. So I click on sign up. It says invalid password. The reason is that in our regular expression, we have not specified hash as a symbol, so it is not considering that. So I will give RA1 at RA2 at symbol and I say sign up. Yes, it is valid password. It comes here. I type Rashmi and for the password I say RA1 at RA1 at. Okay, it should be RA2 at. When I say sign in, it says login failed. Okay, I'll make one more attempt where I give just 2 and I say sign in. Again, it is a wrong password. It says it's wrong password. This is a second attempt. Again, I click sign in. As you can see, it says what you have entered is wrong and you have failed it and it has disabled the button. So the program code what we have done, it is checked for both the true case and as well as the false case. In this way, we will be executing the login sign up program. Thank you all.